This guy whipped around and said, take my picture.
Twice already today?
No, dude.
What the fuck? Maybe people are stressed out because of the rain or something. I don't know. Let's get rainy. Oh, God. Oh, that was the bleach one. I went for shooting of street photography inside of the rain cloud. There was water. I took this good old Sony 35mm f1.8 out. I haven't taken this lens out in the watery type wet conditions of weather situations. It's supposed to be weather sealed, but the gaskets aren't very heavy duty compared to other lenses I've used. I always tend to protect my gear. I know a lot of people say, my camera is a tool, so that gives them the justification to punish their gear. I'm not one of those people. I try to keep my shit as dry as possible. It's not worth it to me destroying thousands of dollars worth of equipment. I used to use this, and it does work, but it sucks ass. It's huge and annoying, and you have to stick your hands in these big dumb holes, and it makes you look like a complete dipshit. The plastic is cheap and thick, and if it gets cold, these little creases crack the plastic, and it completely defeats the purpose. So this time I tried a more premium option. A freezer bag and a rubber band. It's more flexible, so you can seal it and just hold the whole thing on the outside. I cut a small hole right here, and then I sort of jammed my lens through it, and then threw this big wide rubber band on my lens to seal it. Of course, the front element was still exposed, and we had a little trouble with that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So let's stop waffling. Don't forget to keep an eye open for the pug hidden somewhere in this video. Alright, so here's a quick look at my bag setup. It actually worked really well. I did not find a single drop of water on any of my gear, except for obviously the front element of the lens. But again, we'll get into that a little bit later. Started in Denver just before the rain started to pick up on my way to meet a buddy of mine. I've only shot with him one other time a couple years ago, but he's a super cool dude. His name is Jeff Tidwell. Mind if I grab a quick shot with the sign? What's up, dude? Guy was super nice. I shot him in front of this shoe repair place, and I didn't notice until I was editing these photos that it looks like this place is closing, which is a huge bummer because this is one of the prettiest buildings in Denver. Kind of hard to hear him, and you couldn't really see him because I was facing the other way, but this dude was a giant little baby grumpy bitch when he saw Jeff's flash, and he wasn't even shooting this guy. He was shooting the guy with the poncho on. Unfortunately, I wasn't really facing him, but I sort of turned my head back as we were walking away, and this dude like swung behind Jeff's head, which was a huge douche move. What a douche.
I get flack at that corner all the time.
Dude, yeah, it's kind of it's like the shittiest part of 16th Street is that corner. The Walgreens is right there.
Yeah, buddy.
I bet if he wasn't alone, or if he was alone, he wouldn't have said shit. He had his buddies with him, though. Big one, man, dude, I like it. Even though it had nothing to do with the rain, I think this one's actually one of my favorites. I love how it's just sort of a clean silhouette, and her style of haircut really makes it stand out against the background. Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of a Leica's shutter dying though, so, or maybe people just don't talk about it. Leica people are kind of fanatical about it, you know? Shut up. I would totally try one out and shoot with one, but there's just no way in hell I could spend that much money on a camera. Yeah, everything that's Leica branded is like
Like the
Insane.
thumb grip for this, $280. Like it's a piece of metal.
It's like Apple, man, with their, you know, their Pro Display stand is like $1,000. What the fuck, dude? People buy it though.
The only weather switch camera I've got is my A7 III.
Yeah, and Sony weather sealing isn't the best, honestly. I've heard really bad things. It's like, I get that people want to, you know, their tools or whatever, so they just beat them up, but it's like, it's not worth the risk for me, man. Like, see how this works out. It should be, it looks pretty good. I guess this one could be construed as a missed opportunity, though I did see the similarities between what she was wearing and the background. Unfortunately, I'm just dumb and I didn't frame it up right. She was running really fast and I barely caught her in time. Obviously, her skirt still is in the shot, but I wish I would have framed down a little bit. That's super stylish, man. Another one of my favorites. I don't know if it's just because she's wearing sunglasses and she looks sort of ethereal, but I really like the way that this one was framed up. I love how her clear umbrella is sort of glowing with the light reflecting off of it, and then of course this beautiful red wall behind her. But as always, make sure to let me know in the comments which ones you like or dislike. Jeff, with his not-so-cheap Leica Q, was actually having some issues with its touchscreen. He was only using his jacket to cover it from the rain, and it looked pretty dry most of the time, but it's definitely possible that some of the water ingressed behind the screen. But he did let me know the next day that it was back in full working order, but still quite scary for a Leica. I think we sort of scared the piss out of this lady, but I just couldn't resist that iridescent umbrella. Oh, look at the doggo. Most certainly one of the goodest of boys. Dude was too good. As you can see in these last couple photos, the blooming is getting quite intense to the point where it almost started to ruin some photos. It was about this time I noticed there was a haze over my lens. I figured it was just a wet front element, so I didn't worry too much about it. It wasn't until I got home that I realized that it was actually condensation forming on the inside of the front of my lens. So after crying and panicking for about an hour, I looked around my house and I found this, a silica gel packet. So I tucked the lens and this packet into a small Tupperware container, sealed it, and left it overnight. Kerplink. It worked perfectly. So I immediately bought this. It's super cheap on Amazon, and I think if you shoot in less than dry conditions, it's always a good idea to have something like this on hand. Even if you shoot in the cold, if you warm your camera back up too quickly, condensation can form on your sensor. And the longer the moisture remains in your gear, the more likely you'll damage your shit. These last forever. You can even throw them in the oven at about 200 degrees Fahrenheit and reactivate them. A wise investment indeed. Thank you for watching this soggy video. If you'd like to see another time I nearly drowned in the city streets, click right here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.